The dark forest wasn't myth. It was law. For over 2,000 years, European villages enforced one rule: never enter after dark. In 1347, Hartshorn broke that rule. By 1351, 1,200 people had vanished. Not killed. Gone. The monastery that documented it used one word: absences. Medieval Europe bordered forests older than Rome. Archaeological evidence from University of Munich carbon-dated black forest trees to 3,000 years old. Settlements built around these forests faced inward, never outward. No gates opened toward the trees. Every structure turned its back. This wasn't accident. It was design. Deliberate. Ancient. From 1100 to 1600, 19 documented settlements enforced identical laws. Do not enter the forest after dark. Punishment was death. Aerial archaeology revealed their defensive architecture, walls facing inward. Structures deliberately turned away from the trees. Someone understood the threat before written records began. Before the prohibition was written into law. It was older. Much older. In 1347, a new abbot arrived at Hartshorn. His first act: order the inner gates open to the forest. After 283 years of separation, the monastery scribe wrote one word in the margin: peccatum. A sin. No explanation. Just terror in that single word. Why would opening a gate be sin? Between 1347 and 1351, the monastery recorded steady disappearances. Year 1, 63 people left. Year 2, 184 departed. By year 4, only names remained with dates. No explanations. No witness statements. Last entry, March 1351. One name. The word Ultima. Oh, then nothing. Settlement gone. 1,200 people. Absorbed. But the monastery kept recording. For 300 years, neighboring settlements reported normal life. Births, deaths, harvests. Normal. But Hartshorn's records vanish completely. In 1401, 50 years later, one line appears: Hartshorn remains forbidden. Not abandoned. Forbidden. Someone actively maintained that prohibition for centuries. Enforced it. Kept it. Protected it. Between 1200 and 1600, identical prohibitions appeared across continental Europe. Not variations, identical language translated into local dialects. After sunset, no man shall enter the forest, upon penalty of death. 47 manuscripts document this exact phrasing. From Bavaria to Bohemia. 8,000 kilometers. All terrified of the same thing. None ever named it. Open loop one planted. Remember that phrase. The etymology reveals the terror. Dark forest, Old German, Finsterwald, doesn't just mean dark. Finster means cursed. Corrupted. Damned. University of Heidelberg linguists, 1987, found Finster appears in only one other medieval context: plague victim descriptions. Cursed. Untouchable. Contaminated. The forest wasn't dark because of absence of light. It was dark because of presence of corruption. Regional variations reveal coordination impossible without communication networks we don't understand. Alpine territories called it Bone Wood, Notchwold. Czech records the silent place Tichamista. Polish the Hunger Glad. Different names. Same terror. Same prohibition. Medieval land surveys show the Black Forest expanding. 1250, 800 square kilometers. 1450, 1,200. 1550, 1,500. The forest was growing, advancing, consuming cleared lands. The forest advanced in specific surges. 1340–1360, expansion coincided with Hartshorn's disappearance. 1450–1470, 1520–1545. Each surge lasted 20 years. Each surge matched population vanishings. Monastery records never say bodies found. Always absences. Departures. Never death. Just gone. Then the forest stopped expanding. For a generation. Then began again. The pattern is mathematical. Rhythmic. Breathing. I'll come back to what that rhythm means, because the answer is in the fungal samples. Between 1340 and 1360, Benedict Bjorn recorded 1,217 residents of Hartshorn. Every death, birth, marriage catalogued for 2 centuries. Then in 4 years, records stop. But before they do, a different scribe wrote, "They have opened the inner gate." The forest now speaks in tongues we do not understand. The trees have begun to move toward us. God help us. Those are direct quotes. Verbatim from 1348 monastery records. That line, "The forest now speaks in tongues," appears nowhere else in 400 years of European monastery records. Not in any other settlement. Not in any source found. Daily entries followed, each shorter than the last. The paths have changed their direction. The outer walls are no longer visible. We can hear it breathing. Then silence. For 50 years. No monastery records. No documentation. Complete erasure. Institutional amnesia. In 1401, the monastery resumed recording, but only about Hartshorn. Hartshorn is forbidden. The forest has taken root in the stone. The walls grow inward now. What remains must not be disturbed. They maintained that prohibition 400 years. Not fearing invasion. Fearing what might emerge if anyone disrupted what the forest had taken. They understood something. The entry from 1348 about the forest, speaking in tongues, this is what it was trying to tell them. In 1956, University of Munich researchers located Hartshorn using medieval maps and archaeology. They found structures still standing. Not ruins. Standing buildings. The walls were moving. The stone was shifting. Mortar between blocks was actively flowing. Biological analysis, fungal network. The fungus had colonized the stone. It was replicating the structure while consuming it. The buildings were alive. Remember what I said at the start about 1,200 vanishings. This is why the fungus had been growing 600 years. Since 1351, carbon dating confirmed it. Genetic analysis by Max Planck Institute showed closest relatives were tropical species. Amazon, Southeast Asia. Medieval Europeans never contacted these regions. This fungus should not exist in an alpine forest. It was impossible, yet physically undeniable. Growing, waiting, 600 years. What if those 1,200 people didn't vanish? What if they became part of what the forest was becoming? The dark forest prohibition was never about keeping people out. It was quarantine. Medieval quarantine written into law across 8,000 kilometers for 400 years. The monastery understood, if humans entered Hartshorn, the fungus would spread. Escape the stone. Find new substrate. New hosts. If it reached a major settlement, a city, catastrophic. The rhythm of forest expansion. Fungal reproduction cycles. 20 years to mature. 20 years to prepare the next surge. The fungus never escaped. The prohibition held for 600 years. No one violated the law. Hartshorn remained sealed. In 1956, researchers found it, documented it, took samples, then sealed the location. Coordinates classified. Research published under restricted access only. Max Planck genetic analysis filed and archived in secure collections. The dark forest is still forbidden, not by law, by institutional silence. The rhythm I mentioned earlier. Fungal cycles match medieval expansion surges. The forest was feeding. The dark forest teaches us something darker than any creature. The most effective prohibition is silence. For 600 years, the truth was preserved not by walls or laws, but by the simple decision to never speak of it. And it worked. The fungus never spread. The settlement remains sealed. And somewhere in the Black Forest, beneath the canopy that has grown for centuries, something is still there. Still growing. Still waiting. Still breathing. Still hungry. Subscribe to Dark Creature. We find the creature's history tried to erase.